Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the channel if you're new. I've got my KTM RC8C shirt here, which means there's a new KTM RC8C. And today I wanted to do a quick video to watch this new launch video with you guys, but also kind of share my reaction as someone who's raced and ridden the bike for an entire season now. So I think I put something like 2,500 miles on my RC8C. So I want to be able to share that perspective with you guys on this new RC8C. So let's watch this video together. It's a quick one. Man, they always have guys with like the best body position on these marketing videos. Look at that. Just elbow dragging everywhere. Looks awesome. You can see here really quickly that there's a little bit of difference in the livery. Obviously, the whole black bodywork is different than the 2022 model, which is all orange, right? And then you also have this white accent around the windshield, which I think looks pretty neat. That's definitely a departure from this one, which looks a little bit more unfinished compared side by side. So let's take a look at the website that they linked below. I already pulled it up here. So here you go. Here's the full bike in all of its glory. So basically, the bodywork seems pretty much unchanged, but you've got this matte black winter livery-esque decal kit on it, right? So it's just the white on the white on black. Looks good with all these orange accents on the wing, on the fender, on the bodywork, on the tail, and you can also see it here beneath the tail. Also, there's going to be this orange tail section here. Those are just decal, guys. Like knowing what they do, this is just a decal. It's not painted on. I'm sure you can just tear it off if you don't want it. The bike overall looks great. I think it looks really good. It looks very menacing compared to last season's bike, which just I think looks beautiful, but it doesn't look menacing, right? Like the black on white, that looks menacing. So I like it a lot. I mean, I like it a lot. Like if you guys have followed this channel, you know that I have a full custom carbon fiber bodywork set with the winter decal kit on it. I'll put a photo up. It's super trick, and I think it might actually look better than this because it's full carbon. But anyway, so this bike is limited to 200 units, up from 100 units of the 2022. I think what this is just KTM knows that there's a customer base that's willing to pay for this bike, right? They sold the first 100 units last year in 4 minutes and 30 seconds or something like that, right? So very successful launch of a very unique race bike, and so they're trying to capitalize on that. Let's scroll down to some of the internal parts. Like this looks really good, right? Like this looks fantastic in a garage. Here's their data logger. It uses the same MXS 1.2. I don't think there's any changes whatsoever here from the 2022 model. Over here, kind of same thing, kind of just general stuff. Here you can see without the fairing on, the steering damper, the forks, the triple, this GPS logging system here for the MXS 1.2. All of this looks exactly the same, no changes whatsoever. And let's scroll down a little bit more. Really cool shot. That looks beautiful on track. Nothing there. Here is what I was very keen to see. So basically, the updated version here is going to put out a little bit more power. So last year's model, the one that I have, is a claimed 128 horsepower. 135 horsepower is not that big of an upgrade. I'm a little bit surprised. The rumors that were floating around in the RC8C world was going to be closer to 150 horsepower, which I was very excited about because this bike competes in the super sport class against now the Panigale V2, the 750cc Gixxer. So 135 is a little bit under what I was expecting. The rev limit is now raised to 12,000, which is welcome. The current one is something like 10,500, and you definitely hit it. You definitely hit it. And I think that increasing the rev limit ceiling is going to let you wring that motor out just a little bit more for more top end speed. So, you know, on COTA we were doing probably 155 miles an hour on the back straight. This probably will get you closer to 160 or a little bit more than 160, which is great. The other big changes though are the internals. So titanium intake, titanium exhaust valves, titanium connecting rods, this machined head port, the machined custom chamber, combustion chamber. All this stuff is new. This is a overhauled motor that's going to produce more power, higher rev limit, higher top speed, I'm sure. And then also really welcome is this extra oil cooler. This is good because the one time I've ever overheated the bike was when we were at Barber in the summer and we were just waiting in line to go on track and the bike overheated because we were sitting there for like 10 minutes in like 95-degree weather. So an oil cooler is definitely something that I think will help, and it'll also help maintain the optimal operating temperature, so it'll work better through a wider range of temperatures, right? So that's the benefit of that oil cooler. Let's see what else they did. So the air intake system. So if you guys are new to the RC8C, this is not a fuel tank here. This actually is an airbox cover. The airbox is here, and then the fuel tank actually sits behind you on the seat. So it's a little bit different. I think this is completely unchanged. So the air intake system. Exhaust looks to be exactly the same Akrapovic exhaust system. Amazing, amazing sound. You guys have to hear it in person. The videos just don't do it justice. It is absolutely absurd how loud and awesome this 890 Twin sounds with this exhaust system on the RC8C. Fantastic. So that's the changes there. Another marketing shot here. Looks good. Aerodynamics bodywork. So this bodywork is, I think, really cool. It's very Moto2, MotoGP inspired. The wings look freaking awesome in person. They're absolutely outrageous in person. So the other thing here, I'm zooming in here, is that you've got this wave cutout, right? This is exactly the way their RC16 MotoGP bike looks, and it looks really good in person. It looks fantastic. Let's go, zoom back out. And let's see, rider ergonomics, the rear sets, the bodywork, the wings, the carbon fender, really beautiful carbon fender, FYI. That isn't changed at all, so very cool. Wheels are the same, so the same Dimag UP7X forged aluminum wheels. These are really, really good wheels. They're super light, very, very good. I like them a lot. Nothing's changed there. Same master cylinder, the Brembo 19 RCS Corsa Corta. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic setup. You can definitely get them for other bikes too. So if you're looking for an upgraded master cylinder, this is a really good one. The other good one to consider is the Gale Speed, but they're all very good. Suspension looks pretty similar, if not the exact same. It's the WP Apex Pro line. When you see the 7 starting number, that's what we were told, that basically designates the kind of the tier. So it starts with lower numbers, like I believe there's a 3, there's a 5, there's a 7. The 7 designates the second highest tier next to the MotoGP bike itself. So the only thing that's better than this from WP would be the MotoGP suspension, is what we were told when we were at Jerez last year when we had the presentation done in person. So really good fork, really good shock, very good stuff. So that's it from the hardware perspective. The fuel tank here, again, like if you guys are new, the RC8C fuel is poured here behind you to lower the center of gravity, so the fuel pours lower and sits beneath you instead of high above in that traditional fuel tank position, to lower the center of gravity, better agility, better stability. So that's why the fuel tank is there. The slipper clutch is really nice. I will have to say that it is incredibly smooth on track when you're downshifting and you're using the auto blipper as you're coming into a brake zone. You grab some downshifts. You don't need to use your clutch at all. The slipper clutch, the auto blipper system, works very beautifully, and there's a lot of crackles and sounds because of that exhaust system, and it sounds fantastic when you're doing it. So love it. The quick shifter plus just means you have up and down. So basically, full hold the throttle wide open, upshift, and then cut the throttle downshift without using the clutch. Really, really great system. I am very curious. I thought there would be some announcement around a traction control system. I don't see that at all. So let's read this through here. Engine has definitely been upgraded. These have not changed. So the brake disc diameter, rear disc diameter. Let's take a look at the. So this is the 2022 website. So you can compare it side by side. So 290, 230. 290, 230, Brembus Dilemma monoblock, same system. And I think that's all, guys. Like those are the big changes. Mostly with the motor, and kind of the rest of it is untouched with this new livery. So who do I think this bike is for? I was actually thinking there would be a bigger improvement in terms of the total power output, as well as an introduction and addition of better electronics with traction control. But apparently it's not. So that's very, very surprising. I'm very surprised. Taking a step back, right? Like, so my perspective is I race the RC8C and I use it for that purpose. Having had the bike for an entire season now, it's an absolute pleasure to ride on the track, and I'm sure this updated model might be even a little bit better because it's got that higher revving motor. It should be a little bit more exciting, and it should have a higher top end. So one thing I can't find is the price, which I'm very surprised about. But let's talk a little bit about, what the price and who this bike is really made for. Okay, so first off, it's not going to be cheap. It's probably going to be close to $40,000 plus taxes and fees. So you're looking at $45,000, $46,000 out the door. Okay, I don't also see any mention of a launch event like they did last year with the Jerez. So we went to southern Spain, had an amazing time meeting Dani Pedrosa, Mika Kallio, and then riding with them on track. I don't see a launch event detailed here, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But it's a lot of money, right? Obviously, and so it's obviously built and catered towards a very specific customer base. So the question is, who is that customer, right? And so if you are looking for a bike that's going to have, all out straight line speed and just crazy performance in that regard, this is not the bike for you. Like, you can go get a Kawasaki H2R, you can get a V4R. The new Ducati V4R, for example, is going to have insane amounts of horsepower, probably 100 horsepower more than this bike, and obviously it will beat it in a straight. But the thing is that if you're a track day rider and you're really focused on honing your skills and you're really focused on learning how to control the machine with trail braking, good throttle control, good, working on your lines, working your body position, all those things that make a rider, I still think that this is one of the best options you can go with because it is built from the ground up for that purpose. There's no other consideration for street riding. There's no headlights, there's no mirrors, there's no taillights, there's no license plate holder, no ABS, none of the things that you don't need for the racetrack, right? So it's built ground up for that purpose, which I think is really amazing, right? It's truly bespoke, it's truly track focused, and you feel that when you get on the bike. It's fantastic. If your goal as a track day rider is to improve your skills, a 200 horsepower superbike that you can get for the same money is going to hold you back. Like, I'll be really blunt with you guys. A lot of guys that I help out that are new to track riding, that are on superbikes, struggle with grasping concepts like trail braking because there's just so much power at their disposal. It actually becomes an inhibitor in terms of their skill development. This bike is not meant for someone who just wants all-out power. This bike is meant for someone who goes to the track regularly, who is trying to focus on skill development and build that skill and enjoy themselves. The other type of customer that this is for is someone that doesn't want to fuss around with taking a street bike, stripping it off all the street parts like headlights, mirrors, taillights, etc., and then building it up to spec to a track bike. Real example is myself. Like, I bought a brand new 2020 R6 in May of 2020. I spent a lot of money stripping it down and then putting track parts on it, and only to be kind of dissatisfied with it. Whereas if you buy this, it's fully built. There's nothing for you to fuss around with, right? There's the bodywork's done, the suspension is done, the brakes are done, the tires are done, the wheels are done, the ECU, electronics, the data logging, all that is already done for you. You don't have to do anything. Just flip the switch, turn the bike on, and off you go, right? That convenience is part of what you pay for as well. This leaves us to the final kind of customer that might consider a $40,000 bike, which is collectors. Last year, if you were asked me, is this a collectible bike, I would have said yes. This year, I am on the fence because last year we were told that this would be 100 units only worldwide, and it's, the 2222 model is 100 units only worldwide, right? It's a stunning machine, beautiful. I know guys that flew out to Spain, collected it, didn't ride it, sent it back to their collection, and it sits there in their collection. All the power to you, but I think the fact that there's now 200 more units dilutes a little bit of the value of that collectability. Again, it's only 300 units total worldwide, so it's not that many in the first place, but still, it's a little bit annoying if you're a collector, in my opinion. So I'm lucky. I ride and I race it, so I don't really care too much about the collectability of it. I'm using the crap out of my bike, and that's what it's for, right? And so I don't. That's not a concern for me. But if you are a collector, I would pause for a moment and think about it a little bit more. But again, it's only 300 units worldwide between 2022 and 2023, and this is empirically the faster of the two, right? It's got the better internals, it has the titanium internals, it's got the higher rev ceiling, it's got the higher horsepower. I would imagine this is going to be like a few tenths, if not a whole second or so, faster than the previous generation, especially on a bigger track. You'll definitely feel the difference there. That's what I wanted to do today, was to kind of share my first take and first impressions on this updated RC8C. I think it's special. Am I gonna get it? I'm gonna think about it a little bit. If the power was a little bit closer to that 150 horsepower mark for me to be competitive in the classes that I race in, I think the answer would have been absolutely yes, 100%. I'm gonna think a little bit more about it, because the internals here for the titanium internals and all these kinds of things, I can't do that on my own. I can't just take the motor out and do this, right? So this is really, is upgrading the motor worth the price of entry for me? So I'm leaning towards a yes. I do have to think about it a little bit about it, right? So stay tuned. More to come on this. Hope you guys enjoyed my insights as an RC8C owner and as an RC8C racer. I hope that's valuable, and I hope that's helpful if you're considering this bike. It's truly a special machine, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Before I leave, actually, please leave a like, leave a subscribe. I really appreciate it. Help this channel grow, and I'll be back and share more fun track content with you guys soon. Thank you very much. Talk to you guys soon.